بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Assalamu alaikum dear students, I hope you all will be fine and very happy. My name is Adil Khan and I will teach you chemistry inshallah. Class 9th, subject chemistry, chapter 3, page 64 and the chapter name is periodic table and periodicity of properties. In this chapter, we will study about the periodic table, that what is periodic table, when it was developed, how it was developed, how many periods are there, how many groups are there, and about the periodicity of properties. In the periodic table, elements are arranged in such a manner that their properties repeats at a regular interval. So this repetition of properties is called periodicity of properties. Dear students, today our lecture is about the introduction of chapter 3rd. Today we will study about the introduction of chapter 3rd. Dear students, in previous grades you have learnt about the elements and their classification on the basis of metals and non-metals. That initially elements were divided into metals and non-metals. So on the basis of previous knowledge, using previous knowledge, here we will study about more classification of elements and their properties. Initially elements were divided into two groups, metals and non-metals. Elements were divided into metals and non-metals. Elements were initially divided into metals and non-metals. Dear students, in the year 1800, only 34 elements were known. In the year 1800, only 34 elements were known. In the year 1870, the number of elements almost become double and 68 elements were known. After 4 years, in the year 1874, the number of elements was 105. 105 elements were known, and at present 118 elements are known. At present 118 elements are known. So dear students, initially the number of elements were limited and it was easy for chemists to study these elements individually. Initially the number of elements were limited and it was easy for chemists to study these elements individually, but with the passage of time the number of elements increased and it became difficult for chemists to study these elements individually. So it was felt that elements must be arranged properly. Elements must be arranged properly so that one can get more information about them with a little effort. Initially elements were limited and it was easy to study these elements individually, but when the number of elements increased, so it became difficult to study these elements individually. So it was felt that elements must be arranged properly so that one can get more information about them with little effort. So different scientists in different ages attempted to classify the elements. Different scientists in different ages attempted to classify the elements. For example, in the 1817, Dobriner. In the 1864, Newlands. In the 1869, Mendeleev. And in last in the 1913, Jeffreys, Moseley. So different scientists attempted to classify the elements properly, to arrange the elements properly. For example, in the 1817, Dobriner, in the 1864, Newlands, in the 1869, Mendeleev, and in 1913, Jeffreys Moseley, different scientists attempted to classify the elements properly. But among these scientists, the more successful classification of elements was made by Jeffreys Moseley, and the most correct, accurate classification of element was made by Jeffreys Moseley. He correctly arranged the elements, properly arranged the elements, and the periodic table he arranged is known as modern periodic table. Modern periodic table, and this is the most correct classification of elements, and this periodic table is known as modern periodic table. Nowadays, the periodic table that we use is that periodic table which was put forward by the Jeffreys Moseley. So, dear students, it is enough for today. In the next lecture, we will study about the modern periodic table in detail, inshallah.
اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما.